John Wick is an action movie released in 2014 by Thunder Road Pictures 8711 production. What? Why is it so long? John Wick tells the story of a man called, well, John Wick.
Your wife's hot.
Who's a retired hitman living peacefully with his lovely wife Helen in New York, until she gets a terminal illness and goes back to lobby. So John gets all sad and depressed until a package arrives at his doorstep. A dog left by his wife. Then a bunch of Russians break into the house, steal his car and kill the dog. So John starts digging up his arsenal from his hitman days and goes after them. Haha, you Russians. It seems like people don't really like you guys in fiction. Now look, I don't really review movies a lot. I don't know a lot about them, with the exception of that The Last of Us playlist I made, which please watch it. I'm broke. John Wick isn't your average action movie that you put on while having some beer and buffalo wings with your mates, then catch one of them simping for the 2 out of 10 because he hasn't had any in a while. No. This right here, this is art. People would go as far as claiming that John Wick movies are some of the best action movies ever made in cinema. People, by the way. Sure, it might look a bit like they're milking the franchise by making 3 sequels, but hey, I love all of them, and I'll watch 1,000 more if they keep making them. It's Keanu Reeves, cool music, and dogs. What else does a man need? Except Ben Shapiro. He doesn't seem to like this franchise very much.
This movie is 2 hours and 49 minutes long. 2 hours and 49 minutes long. Return of the King was 3 hours and 20 minutes long. The entire Wagnerian ring cycle is not nearly as—
Oh my god, I do not care. There's something about this name, John Wick. Why not name him something else, like Muhammad Abdul Basit? By the way, did you know that the movie was originally supposed to be named Scorn? Keanu Reeves just kept addressing it as the John Wick movie. So the marketing team thought, fuck it, let's just call it John Wick. We'll give the Scorn name to that weird video game that I can't figure out why people like. Since I already mentioned this movie in most of my videos, me and my audience thought, why not just talk about the movie itself. The movie starts with Keanu Reeves crashing his car and dying. Okay, I'm kidding. This is one of those movies that shows the end at the beginning, then it's like,
yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
And then rewinds back to the start. Why do movies do this? I don't know. John crashes his car and moments before giving up, watches a video of himself and his wife at the beach. You will learn throughout this franchise that Helen is the only part of this man's life that did not suck. John wakes up at his dark and empty house. It has been only days since the passing of his wife, and obviously he's having serious trouble coping with the situation. He has constant flashbacks to the good times he had with his wife, and the nice touch is the fact that those flashbacks are the only parts of all 4 movies that you see John smile. The color grading is also on point, with John's current world being void of color and his flashbacks being filled with them. John gets in his car and drives to his wife's funeral, where he gets to meet Norman Osborn. That's right, this isn't just William Dafoe, it's Norman Osborn, because John Wick actually takes place in the Sam Raimi universe. It's actually a hidden detail that people don't notice, and I can prove it to you. If you rewatch the first Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and pay attention to the fight scene between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, in the background of this exact shot, you will find absolutely nothing because I just made it all up. This is Marcus, an old associate of John, and he's just there to check up on him. This scene also has the first continuity error of the movie where John's umbrella switches between the shots. Back home, John receives a package containing a dog, a last gift from his wife to fill up her place and not leave John to grieve alone. This cute fella is called Daisy. Throughout the next few days, John and Daisy bond where John feeds her milk and cereal. Yeah. Eventually, John goes out to get some dog toys and pump some gas when he meets Yosef Tarasov. We know he's the bad guy because he drives a BMW. We all know that BMW drivers are the real life villains. Joseph takes a liking to the car and offers John a deal.
How much?
Excuse me.
How much for the car?
She's not for sale.
So they beat up John, kill his dog, steal the car, and then knock him out. After burying Daisy, you can tell that John still tries his best to not go back to the hitman life. But the only thing between him and that life was Helen, and the only reminder of her is gone. Joseph takes John's car to Aurelio's garage. Aurelio is the car guy. He works with rides, gets them makeovers, new license plates, pink sheets, you know, GTA stuff.
The owner of the car, did you kill him or what?
No. You sure as hell f***ed up his dog.
F***ed up his dog, that's what you did. You f***ed up his dog. Yeah. That's crazy shit, man. You got a f***ing pair on you, old man! Oh, look at you. It's great. You're gonna come into my shop and you're gonna pull a gun on me. That's great, man. Come on.
Okay, that doesn't actually happen, but the amount of times fictional characters pull this off and get away with it is funny. One of Joseph's generic right hands says that Viggo's not going to like what Aurelio's done. Who is Viggo? I'll tell you about him, just be patient, okay? John decides to go after his car when he realizes that they also smashed his other car's windshield. Okay, movie, I get it, they're evil, you can stop. John actually takes public transport instead of driving with a broken windshield because even ex-hitmen respect the traffic laws, but BMW drivers don't. Aurelio fills John in about what happened to his car, and he also lands him a new ride for now. You can see the color come back in this shot slightly because John has finally found himself another purpose to live for, even if it's not very romantic like the last one.
Aurelio speaking.
I heard you struck my son.
Yes, sir, I did.
May I ask why?
Yeah, well, because he stole John Wick's car, sir, and, killed his dog.
Oh.
This is Viggo, the boss of the Russian mob and the father of Joseph. Something I really liked is the threat they portrayed John to be. Everyone's afraid of him. Aurelio was willing to turn his back on the son of the Russian mob boss, and the boss himself actually accepted this excuse. Viggo, being the father of the year he is, drinks some alcohol, then beats his son. He fills Joseph, or the audience, in about who John is. At the same time, we see John digging up his old arsenal. Apparently, John used to work for Viggo. One day he asked to leave, so Viggo gave him an impossible mission. But somehow John accomplished it, which led to the Russian mob getting to power and John leaving the life of crime. So John, you helped the Russian mob get to power? Wow, don't ever set foot in Miami, John. They will not like you over there. On my first watch, I didn't really get why John had to bury his case under cement. He could just get a safe. But now I know it was supposed to signify John going back to the life he tried so hard to leave behind, and the length he is willing to go through for it, simply because there is no motive to keep him away from it. Or simply to show how strong his love for Helen was. Viggo calls John to try and talk him out of it.
Hello, John. I heard about your wife.
Yap. So he sends men to his house, knowing full well that it is pointless. I wanted you to watch this action sequence entirely because I have a lot to say about it, but Big Daddy said, nah. This scene pretty much checks why I believe the action in John Wick movies is top notch and very carefully choreographed. First of all, the enemies are not complete morons. They don't just stand there and do nothing until the protagonist shoots them. They also don't approach John one by one. They are doing the best they can. John is just smarter than them. They even come up with clever strategies, but John is obviously cleverer than them due to his experience. Second, the enemies are actually a threat. We do see John actually struggle to beat them, which does convey the sense that these guys are a force to be reckoned with. And the reason John can handle them is due to his skill, not his plot armor. And third, the attention to detail. John actually stops to reload his gun, which isn't something you see in a lot of movies. Usually the ammo camo clip of the protagonist just becomes endless when the action starts. And even though I will not mention them again, all these three factors are present in every single action sequence of this movie. Hey, I'm sorry for interrupting your video, it won't take long. Just stop by to say if you made it this far, you're most likely enjoying the video, or just running in the background and doing something else. Regardless, I would really appreciate if you subscribed. It's a big help, especially for small channels like me. Also, my memberships are now available. Support the channel for $3.99 a month and gain access to exclusive perks. Okay, I won't take your time anymore, see ya. So after handling them, John gets a ring on his doorbell.
Evening, John.
Evening, Jimmy.
You, working again?
No, just sorting some stuff out.
I'll leave you be then. Good night, John.
Good night, Jimmy.
Like I said, a threat that people don't want to go against. John calls up cleaners to get rid of the bodies, which I think I should mention it now. You'll see more of it later, but in the world of John Wick, organized crime is much more organized. It's even kind of an official thing. They even got their own currency and everything. I'll tell you more about it later on, but just so you know, it's a little bit goofy, and that's kind of the charm of it. At morning, William Dafoe gets a visit from Viggo, who makes him an offer.
Would you kill John Wick for $2 million? It's a timely matter, has to be handled quickly. Consider it done.
So John goes to the famous Continental hotel to stay for a while since his house is now, well, not very safe. This hotel is the best example of the whole organized crime is more organized in this universe thing. This is a hotel specifically for assassins, and it has a rule that you're not allowed to kill anyone as long as they are in this hotel. If you do, they'll find you and one-tap you.
Good seeing you again, John.
Perkins.
I have you for 2 nights.
Sharon is the receptionist of the Continental Hotel, played by Lance Reddick. Rest in peace, Lance, you really killed this role. Sharon has this Haitian accent, and Lance plays it so well that I actually thought this really was his actual accent. But it's not, it's just part of his role.
So when did the old place get a facelift?
Around 4 years ago. But I assure you, sir, she really hasn't changed much.
Same owner.
Same owner.
Well, for me, that was I'd always known that there was racism in the business, but I always thought that the level of my work would rise above it.
John rents a room using his coins. Let me tell you about these babies. Like I said, the criminal underworld of John Wick's universe has its own currency. It's not Bitcoin like ours, it's more of a literal physical coin made of solid gold called the Continental coin. The actual value of these coins is never really addressed in any of the 4 movies, but we do know that this is the currency you get paid in and you use for services. John goes clubbing in the secret hidden club of the hotel. I don't really know why it's kept hidden. It's a club. Hotels have these. Maybe it's a VIP. I don't know.
Hello, Winston. Jonathan.
John meets an old friend, the manager of the hotel, called Winston. He asks if he knows anything about Joseph Tarasov. Winston doesn't actually tell him anything, he just tells John that if he gets dragged back into this life of a hitman, he won't get out again.
You got out once. You dip so much as a pinky back into this pond. You may well find something reaches out and drags you back into its depths.
Did not ask. He goes to the bar to order himself a drink.
Jonathan.
Hey, Hattie.
Oh my God. How long has it been? 4 years?
5 and change.
So tell me, how is life on the other side?
She can fix me. This man constantly finds himself in situations where his name is John and he's an alcoholic.
Corps have long controlled our lives, taken lots, and now they're after our souls.
The bartender leaves a note on a tissue reading Red Circle, name of the club Joseph is hiding in, the tissue being a courtesy from Winston. This is also where we enter the minefield of copyrighted music in the movie, so I can't really play a lot of audio from this point on. John finds the club and has a chat with a bouncer called Francis, played by former WWE star Kevin Nash.
The typical deal. 20 килограммов.
There's a lot of debate going on in the community about this line. People say that this is actually Francis telling John how many guards are in the club, since 60 pounds is 27 kilograms, and John goes on to kill 27 guards in this club. But people claim that this is a myth that wasn't confirmed because Francis is actually saying 20 kilograms, not 27, which eventually concludes to a translation error. The line reads 60 pounds, was delivered to the audience as 60 pounds, written in the script as 60 pounds, but it was translated to Russian incorrectly. That's why Francis says 20 kilograms and not 27. Anyways, John goes in, beats the crap out of Joseph's guards, Joseph runs, and we get to this very famous shootout scene, where Shots Fired by La Castlevania plays. The only problem is, this song is copyrighted, but all of La Castlevania songs have this high beat action vibe to them. Actually, I'm just gonna replace Shots Fired with Infinite Ammo and with some editing show you this scene again. This isn't really something for the movie watchers, but in case there's any Payday 2 players watching this video, this is the scene they used as reference for animating Wick's trailer in Payday 2. Joseph escapes, John gets thrown off a whole floor, and the plan fails. But John isn't going to stop now. John goes back to the Continental Hotel and the doctor starts patching him up.
Take 2 of these beforehand. Your stitches will tear and you'll bleed, but you'll have full function.
What do you mean you will literally bleed but have full function? What the fuck are you giving him? Left 4 Dead adrenaline shot? William Dafoe shows up on a balcony near John's room to collect the bounty when he hears someone come in. He takes a shot but misses.
Hey, John.
Okay, wait, before you two kill each other, let me just introduce her. This is Perkins, the same chick we saw twice before. She's just in the movie to kill John for the $2 million bounty set by Viggo. That's about it.
My apologies. I was dealing with an uninvited guest.
So then John interrogates Perkins, which makes her spill the beans on the location of Viggo's entire stash of blackmail data and money in a nearby church. And John tells one of his friends next door to keep an eye on Perkins. And he does not. That pillow did not suppress anything. John pulls up to the church, shoots everyone, and burns Viggo's stash. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Viggo shows up to see what's going on when John ambushes him and eventually gets hit by a car.
I say this, John. The sure as broke the mold with you.
Whoa, hold up. So Viggo knows that this guy can 100% kill his son, to the point that he already said his goodbyes to Joseph, and now he has a chance to actually stop him, save his son's life. But instead he brings him over to taunt him a bit, then kill him? Viggo, my boy, look at the play bar. There's still about 30 minutes left, which means John's not going to die. William Dafoe misses again. Bro. John breaks out, goes out to see Viggo escaping, and beats his car by going to the back door. John makes deal with Viggo to let him walk away if he pulls the bounty and tell him where Joseph is. Then he delivers this extremely cold line.
They know you're coming.
Of course. But it won't matter.
Viggo does the reasonable thing after missing his one chance to stop his son's killer and smoke some of that Zaza. Joseph is just chilling in a safe house with his mate playing some video game. Obviously, John kills all of the henchmen, blows up their cars, and finds Joseph. See, Viggo? This is what happens when you actually kill the guy you're supposed to instead of taunting him. John checks out of Continental and finds out they actually gave him a car as a gift. John meets up with William Dafoe and it turns out that he wasn't actually missing. He was just doing it on purpose to protect John. The good friend he is. Yep, Viggo is pretty pissed. William fights back, Perkins shoots him, and Viggo kills him. Then for some fucking reason, he decides to call John to let him know that he killed his friend, knowing damn well that John will find him and kill him. Perkins decides to take a walk back home when Continental staff find her. Winston tells her that her membership is revoked because she tried to conduct business in the Continental premises, and she dies. Winston calls John to let him know that Viggo is filling up his chopper to escape the city. Very good of you, Winston, but how did you figure it out? John shows up, rams one of their cars straight off the road, and pushes Viggo's car in a pole. There it is, the final showdown. Viggo asks John to do a fist fight and he agrees. I don't know why. I really don't know why he does. John, being the protagonist, wins. Oh guys, look! Look! It's the beginning of the film! It was actually the end! Yo! So you thought that John was going to die, but he straight up refuses to die and breaks into an animal shelter and gets himself some antiseptic because, like the doctor said,
your stitches will tear.
He spots a dog who's scheduled to be put down, and being Keanu Reeves, he just can't let it happen. He adopts him and walks back home near the same bridge we saw him and Helen together. Wow, look, I goof a lot, but I really like the movie. This little goofy movie of ours would go on to make about $87 million worldwide, so I guess we can call it a success, and I can clearly see why. The world of this movie needs you to suspend your disbelief. There's a lot of stuff that you are just supposed to go along with, like how did Marcus know where John was being kept? How did Winston know where Joseph was? How did he find Perkins? How did he know Viggo was going to leave the city? How did John find the exact helipad Viggo was going to use? Because at its core, everything within this world is set up to highlight the action sequences. The story, the plot points, and the characters all have been established to give John a reason to shoot people. And Keanu Reeves, just like every other actor in this movie, absolutely killed this role. Apparently, Clint Eastwood and Harrison Ford were first considered for the role because originally Wick was supposed to be about 60, they just made him younger and casted Reeves instead. I had a lot of fun rewatching this movie for the 50th time, and if you did too, please like, subscribe, and comment down what was your favorite aspect of the first John Wick movie. And for now,
Be seeing you, John.
So, if this video does well, I'll cover the rest of the movies too. But I guess we just gotta wait and sit tight for now. Oh, is this thing on? Oh, sorry.